Once upon a time there was a turtle, not an average turtle, a very unique one in fact. He had always been a mud turtle, but different from those as well. He had always had an interest in outer space. The unbelievable awesomeness had always astounded him. He was a speck in the universe, not even that big, smaller. He would always think of the idea of other turtles billions of light years away, chilling out in the mud, just eating like bugs and stuff. One day, this turtle, who by the way was named Eli, decided to visit the land far away from the mud where he and his buddies usually hung out. His friends were all like, "Why are you leaving? There's plenty of flies and stuff here in the mud." Eli explained to them that he wanted to know what else was out there. One turtle said to another, "He's been talking about space and stuff for like 2 days, Craig." Eli had many special abilities, some of which he did not yet know. For one thing, he hopped, more like a frog than a turtle. So Eli hopped all day and eventually over sand, grass, and leaves. All of these textures were new to him. He eventually came to a large tree. He touched it and realized he could climb it. Being a mud turtle, he was able to easily grip the bark and climb it all the way to the top. He looked around and could see his buddies chilling in the mud, an enormous forest and mountains that touched the clouds. Eli thought, "I wonder what's on top of those mountains and on top of those clouds." Eli began to jump from tree to tree, watching the forest below him. Everything he saw he did not know existed. All he had ever known was his spot in the mud. He jumped across the entire forest until he came to the last tree by a stream and climbed down. He was thirsty after all that jumping anyway. While having a drink, he saw an animal he had never seen before. It had feathers and wings. He didn't know what to say at first and just said, "What up?" We all know that the animal was a bird, and he was like, "Yo, what are you, some kind of turtle?" Eli was like, "Yeah, I was wondering what's on top of those mountains." The bird said, "Well, I can take you to the top if you would like, but there is nothing there. I mean, you can see the city from there." Eli had never even heard about a city. He thought, "I wonder how big this planet is. Could you take me?" he said. "Well," said the bird, "I normally don't do favors for people, you know." Eli said, "Why can't I just be your friend?" "Unfortunately, that's not the way the world works," said the bird. "But I'll do it anyway, I got nothing else going on right now." So the bird took Eli to the top of the mountain where he saw an endless city. "What are all those?" he said. "Those are buildings where people live. Those are other animals that like to destroy things, even themselves." "Huh?" said Eli. "I don't get it either," said the bird. Eli and his new friend, the bird, decided to camp out on top of the mountain so Eli could get a better view of the stars. Eli didn't spend much time sleeping, but staring at the stars, wondering if those stars had turtles and birds and buildings and people, or something strange he could not possibly imagine. When he woke up, the bird was making scrambled eggs on the rocks. "Breakfast is served," he said. After breakfast, the bird agreed to take Eli into the city because, once again, he had nothing better to do. As they were flying, Eli said, "Can we go into one of those buildings?" "Sure, I don't see why not," said the bird. The first window they flew into smelled awful, and when they went to the next room and saw a much larger, cooked bird sitting on a plate, they both freaked and went right back out the window. The next window was filled with tiny work areas with people moving piles of paper from one spot on their desk to another and then staring at a blue screen. That didn't seem interesting either. The two kept flying over cities, small towns, and eventually an enormous ocean. It seemed to go on forever. They finally landed on one of those Galapagos Islands, where Eli met some new turtle friends that were enormous. They practically dwarfed him in comparison. He felt right at home. They seemed very nice.